Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Welcome to Financial Fitness Northwest, coming to you live at 1150 KKNW, Alternative Talk Radio. I am your host, Patricia Johnson. Our goal is to help people navigate the mortgage and real estate market with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. Whether you are a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned investor, we are here to help. We also strongly believe in giving back and empowering our community. It's our hope to provide our listeners with local charities and businesses to bring solutions to your daily life and provide you with opportunities to give back to your community as well. So, thanks for tuning in today. This is the time that I normally chit-chat with my co-host, Sarah Riley, who is also my daughter. But Sarah is out on vacation this week, so I am hosting my solo show. So, bear with me, everybody. She actually got to do this by herself 2 weeks ago when I was out. So she survived famously. So I'm hoping that I will be able to do the same and keep you guys entertained. So anyway, she's funny enough. She is in Hawaii with her husband and my three granddaughters. They went to the Disney Resort in Hawaii, and I'm sure they're having a really fabulous time. So it's kind of funny that both our families were in Hawaii in the same month, but at separate times. So anyways, it worked out, and I'm sure they're having fun. But I was thinking about this. I mean, I would love to be there with my granddaughters, but it's so funny, the environment that we live in right now with social media crazed world, and everything is almost real time, even when you're not there. So she's texting me, sending me photos and posting things on Facebook and, practically real time. So it's as if I'm there with them, which is really nice because with three granddaughters and especially with a 16-month-old, when you miss what will be 11 days, I mean, who knows what she will be doing by the time she gets back. She could be saying all kinds of things in addition to Mama, Dada, and Alexa, if you listened to last week's show, because that is what she is currently saying, Alexa. That's her most perfect word, so that's pretty funny. But anyway, I had this great idea that, so you're looking at these photos real time, and if you if somehow we could come up with an app that would actually, you're looking at a picture of someone on a sandy beach and it's 85 degrees, and then your phone would heat up, and maybe you would get a whiff of the ocean breeze or something. I mean, would that not be so cool, Or if they're at the amusement park and all of a sudden you start smelling the caramel corn and, cotton candy, and, maybe that'll be the next thing. It'll all be really real life. So anyways, I hope they're having a great time. I hope y'all had a wonderful Easter weekend. It's my favorite holiday. So had all the kids over, and we had a really great time. Did a reverse egg hunt. Peyton planned a Easter egg hunt for the grown-ups, and she went on to say that she brought lots of buckets, so we didn't have to worry about that. And also there was nothing in the eggs. So that made it really exciting. But, of course, we all lined up and we participated. It was a great event. So anyways, thanks for turning into today's show. I'm so excited for our guests that we have in studio today. First up, when we come back from commercial, we'll be talking to Lisa McGregor and Roger Bintner. They are Synergy Properties at Keller Williams Puget Sound, and between them have over 30 years experience in the real estate market. And they're going to talk to us today about pre-inspection and why this is so important in the current market and in any market, really. And then on the second half of the show, we're going to have Marty Hartman, Executive Director of Mary's Place. Marty Hartman is an advocate for homeless families who has secured funding and loaned properties to house over 400 family members each night and offering housing and employment resources to hundreds more each day. So we're really looking forward to hearing about that. To find out about the topics discussed or learn more about guests we have in studio, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.
Are you intimidated by the seller's market we're in and unsure how to secure a home in a multiple offer situation? The Riley Johnson team with Caliber Home Loans has helped hundreds of buyers successfully secure the property of their dreams, even in this challenging market. A pre-approval letter from the Riley Johnson team carries more weight because we have the reputation of closing loans quickly with our state-of-the-art technology known as the ultimate home buying experience. To learn more about our premier service and technology to help you secure the home of your dreams, contact us today at Riley Johnson Team at CaliberHomeLoans.com or visit our website at RileyJohnsonTeam.com. Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Did you know that tonight, more than 500 families, moms, dads, and children, will sleep in cars, tents, or doorways, places unfit for human habitation? No child should sleep outside in our community. Mary's Place empowers homeless women, children, and families to reclaim their lives by providing emergency shelter at several King County locations. A warm, safe bed, a hot meal, dry clothes, showers, and laundry, as well as housing and employment resources to help families get back on their feet and find their forever home. What can you do to help? Make a financial contribution. On Wednesday, May 10th, the date of the Mary's Place Spring Fundraising Luncheon, all donations to Mary's Place will be matched up to $1 million by Amazon. Help Mary's Place meet the Amazon one-day $1 million match and double your gift at marysplaceseattle.org.
If your home's not perfect and you want to sell, what do? Synergy Properties, powered by Keller Williams Puget Sound, helps families like yours navigate the preparation necessary to help you maximize the dollars you get for your house. We've helped hundreds of homeowners prepare their house for market. You can find us on Zillow with over 100 positive reviews. Give us a call and we'll be happy to share the stories of the happy homeowners we've helped. We have over 18 years in the real estate business as brokers and closed over 1,500 houses. You can call us at 253-288-8034. That's 253-288-8034. Or check us out online at synergyproperties.info. That's synergyproperties.info.
You found us. Maybe you've been guided to listen. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back. You're tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest Live on 1150 KKNW, where we help you navigate the mortgage and real estate markets with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. And we have a couple here today. I'm excited. We are here with Lisa Serratos McGregor and Roger Bintner of Synergy Properties and Puget Sound, Keller Williams Puget Sound. Lisa is a realtor, broker, and entrepreneur since the age of 19. She started very early, and she's also the coach and the team leader for Synergy Properties and an equestrian property specialist. So that will be interesting to hear about. And Lisa's also a mother of 3 wonderful children and married for 10 years to Sean McGregor, and she's a top producer at Keller Williams Puget Sound. And her partner, Roger, has been in real estate industry for 15 years and 30 years in marketing and advertising. And Roger's main goal has been to achieve 100% client satisfaction, so he works very hard and is driven by his passion for people and the industry to accomplish this goal. And Roger is a father of 2 and 3 grandchildren. So welcome, Lisa and Roger.
Well, thank you very much.
So happy to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having us, Patricia. This is awesome.
So today we're going to talk, I think, a lot about pre-inspection, and I know this is a really important topic for you guys. But before we get into that, kind of tell me a little bit about your team.
Well, thanks again for having us. A little bit about our team. We are in the Keller Williams Puget Sound and Federal Way. We focus on King and Pierce County area. And we have basically a set of buyer's agents, showing assistants, and listing partners. And so we each have a role that we play out to make sure that we can meet our clients' expectations and needs. And I'll let Roger explain a little bit more about that.
My background coming, being an entrepreneur also for a long period of time, I'm really process-oriented. And I've always been an individual agent until about a year and a half ago or so when I met up with Lisa and decided that at the last phase of my career that I'd help Lisa put together a team. So I basically have spent a year putting together the back office processes to help us be a little more, have better communication with all of our clients and a little better follow through. So that's really been kind of how the team got started and what we're about right now.
That sounds awesome. So how many total people do you have on your team right now?
Well, we have a couple of showing assistants, and we have about 4 buyer's agents, and we have about 4 administrative type people that work in the backside scenes.
Wow. That's a big team.
It's growing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you guys obviously have a really good system, and you each kind of playing your own roles on the team. So I feel like, I mean, tell me how can that benefit a potential client for you guys with so many resources within your group?
Well, I think the benefit would be the fact that we specialize in 1 or 2 areas to where a lot of agents try to play all the different hats. And so a really good scenario would be if you are working with an individual agent, how could they be at an appointment, also be the one answering your phone call, running around putting flyers or trying to get new business as well as keep the business. So with our team, the great thing about us is that because we individualize those positions, we're able to cover and make sure people are supported. They have someone that can answer the phone. And at the end of the day, it gives them the results and, you know, why we get great reviews because we do that and we decided to separate it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of like now it's in this day and age, there's so many balls in the air with each transaction, right? It sort of takes a village to manage it all.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it's been really helpful because we separated basically the buying function and working with the buyer's agents and the same with the listing side of it. So each one of us had a really large database when we got together. So we basically tried to play significant roles on the team. Right now we've switched roles. Last year I was the lead listing agent. Lisa handled the buyer's agents. We switched roles at the first of the year. Now I'll handle the training and the buyer's agents, and she handles the listings. If it's a client from our past, we'll go to the listing appointment together. So we build a rapport. So if the client wants to work with obviously who they started with, then we stay there. If not, then we've introduced both of us to the client.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. That sounds like a really good system. So let's get into pre-inspection. So what do you think? Well, I guess first, as far as agents, let's talk about, so what are the characteristics that you think the clients are looking for in an agent? And I'd just say it seems like you guys would have it covered with all those different people, but, you know, what's important there?
Well, I think the nice thing about our team is we have people that are in their early 20s to, you know, over 70 years old. So we've got a wide variety of ages. So I think that really can stand apart for somebody who's coming to look. Sometimes people want someone who's been in the business longer. Sometimes people love someone who's a lot younger and who wants to text and deal with business in a different manner. Mm-hmm. We have everybody's different. So the first thing we do is we'll set up an interview with that client and basically ask, how do you want to be communicated with? You know, how would you like to work with this particular process? And so we learn those things right up front, whether it be a seller or a buyer, with, you know, a firm amount of questions and, you know, talking to each other, building that rapport and relationship.
We have a quick interview process when we're meeting with someone that basically outlines we're trying to build trust. Mm-hmm. So trust is with experience, the review factors of all the people that we've done business with in the past. We're happy to share that with our clients so they could talk one-on-one if they want to find out what the experience was like dealing with us, either buying a home or selling a home. And that's probably the biggest factor, building that trust factor with the client.
Yeah, I know.
I agree.
That is huge. That is huge. That's huge for all of our different roles in this industry. So that's
who you hire matters.
Oh, for sure.
It is, for sure.
For sure. I know. We are in need of someone right now, and I was just hearing this. Well, I've heard it several different places, but it's like hire for personality and then train, because it's so much easier to get the right person with the right character and, you know, the qualities that you need in place, and then you can teach them the job. And so it's really
Agree
important.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah, absolutely.
People skills are hard to teach.
Yeah, you kind of have it or you don't, right?
Roger loves to have the new hires, not with a bunch of bad habits. So.
Yeah, you can just like mold them right from the beginning, right?
He sure does.
Awesome. So pre-inspection. So let's talk about that, and how does that benefit the seller to do a pre-inspection? First, I guess you should tell our audience, you know, what does that mean, pre-inspection?
Well, typical real estate from the past 15 or 20 years, once a client is under contract, then the buyer basically performs an inspection on the house to discover, so it's full disclosure. I mean, obviously the seller has provided a Form 17, but, you know, it's always buyer beware. So the buyer on their own hires a professional certified inspector who comes and walks through the house, and they're licensed and basically produces a report that outlines all the systems and what's going on with the house.
Right.
So what's happened in today's market, and I've seen it more and more now, I've done it for probably more than 3 or 4 years doing pre-inspections. I hardly recommend them. It's where the seller does one. It's the first step I take in a listing presentation, and I do it for a couple of reasons to start with. Everybody always wants to ask, you know, what am I going to do to improve my house? Do I want to put in new counters? Do I want to, you know, and I don't start there. I want to know how much money we have to spend to fix what could be the major problems.
The snakes in the grass, right?
Exactly. Absolutely. And I want to know that up front before we get involved in all the other stuff, how to make it pretty. So that's basically where it started. It's what it is, and it's why we do it. And more agents are starting to do it. So I'm just happy to see it.
And I think every seller, I mean, they know going into the listing process that they've got to do something to get their home sold. And it's always typically, what do I need to do to get top dollar, or how quickly can you get my home sold as is? And so, like Roger mentioned, the Form 17, which is a seller's disclosure form, it's for everything that they know about the home that's wrong with it. And a lot of people inherit homes and, you know, get homes for a reason or another. Maybe they don't know anything about it. And so they really can't even fill out that form to begin with. And so the pre-inspection process, it streamlines it, just kind of sets the target right up front to say, hey, these are the things that are wrong, and let's figure out how to deal with them, or discount the price, or at least let the future buyer know about it. Right.
So obviously in doing that, you're going to find a lot out about the condition of the home. So how do you work with that? What kind of things are discovered, and what if it's kind of a big deal? Or
it can be. I mean, I've had it happen where we basically had to completely reside a house.
Wow.
And so better to know it before you put it on the market.
Was it that old siding?
With the repair? Yes.
Louisiana Pacific.
Oh, yeah. There we go. LP siding, yeah.
But, I mean, even the smaller stuff, it just basically gives you a list, and it gives you where you have the time to go get estimates. It's a real number, because you can get quotes from certified contractors that are licensed to make the repairs, and you have a real dollar amount. You're not guessing, and the seller can choose to do it. And you can make all those repairs are the ones that you choose to make before you list the property.
You know, actually, that's really probably is great, too, because they're kind of in a position of power, being able to figure out who to do it, get the right quote, take their time, get it done right without doing it. Because if you wait till you're in a transaction, then you're under the gun and like who's available, and, you know, it probably ends up costing a lot more money that way, too.
You're definitely right. And I think with our preferred vendors and things, we're able to get them some discounts up front. But most people come to us about a month before they want to list. So sometimes some of these issues, if they decide not to do the pre-inspection, again, like you said, then they get a quick closing and they're like, wow, you know, I couldn't get in with your vendor because they're 2 weeks out, or, you know, and they have to hurry and find somebody who's doing it. And a lot of times they end up paying a higher cost.
And from the buyer's agent perspective, if you're going to guess on what that repair is going to cost from what you did, in all probability you're going to ask for twice as much in a second round of price negotiation. So it just solves that whole issue. It goes a long way towards helping.
Yeah. And I think probably does it make it more appealing for the potential buyers too, because they feel like this is really like a straight shooter right there, their full disclosure right up front.
Yeah, definitely. I think for a buyer, and the one thing I love about when we put a listing on the market is when most of our sellers choose to do this, go this route, that we have it disclosed. So the other buyer's agent who's viewing the property, once they get those signals, hey, my client wants to buy it, all they have to do is log on to the listing, onto the multiple listing service, and then all of those forms are attached. So it really, really helps the buyer see what's wrong with it, make a decision, and say, hey, it looks like there's only a few years left on the roof, but that buyer's agent can also talk and educate their clients ahead of time to say, in your budget, do you guys have, $10,000 for later when the roof is going to need to be replaced? And it really allows them to have a little bit more at ease than going, wow, we're going to write an offer, and then to be competitive, we either have to waive our inspection or we have to get one done in 2 days, and then we don't have time to think about it. So it really definitely puts them at ease, and it saves money up front for them, too, to know if they're walking into something they can't bite off.
Yeah.
Take care of later.
We're huge in full transparency. And so Form 17 was supposed to make that happen. But an inspection report attached to that Form 17 with what the seller is willing to do or has done before that property goes on the market just makes the buyer feel 100% more secure. And we use it. We build websites for individual listings. We attach not only in the MLS, we attach it on that individual listing that we market. So the public has access to it, not just the agent. So if somebody that's just a buyer that's out looking runs across our listing, they can also have access to that information.
So does a buyer typically do their own inspection in addition to that pre-inspection, or do they just trust that?
Well, I was going to say when we were heading out to the talk show today that 83% last year of buyers did a home inspection. That was recorded. So out of 83%, the other people that didn't do one, they might have waived it or later on down the road ended up having a lot of issues. But typically people will do them. And even if they waive their inspection, we see it a lot because we're in multiple offer situations all the time where the client might do one for information only. And so they'll come back and do one again. But yeah, it's a high trend that buyers do want to do them, and they want to know what's wrong with the house. And some inspectors will find different things than the pre-inspector found as well. And
we prefer it. To be perfectly honest, we do not try to advocate to the buyer's agent or to the buyers that they waive the inspection. If they choose to have one, it's terrific. But in most cases, when we're negotiating, it's going to be for informational purposes only, unless it's something major that the seller's inspector missed. Then we'll address it.
I think it seems like it would be a really good time to be an inspector, actually, wouldn't it?
Right?
They're very, very busy right now. And you're dealing with the real estate market on the east side and downtown. It's coming to the south end. It's coming to Tacoma. Lots of buyers, because of all these multiple offers, they're spending hundreds and thousands of dollars doing a pre-inspection themselves before they write the offer on the house, and then they lose out.
Exactly.
And there are people out there that have written many, many, many offers, done many, many pre-inspection, and wasted a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, I know some of them, and it's really sad to me. It's like, oh, gosh.
Thousands of dollars that they've spent. So this at least gives them a report card up front that is from a reliable source, because when we do help the sellers, we don't tell them who to choose, but we give them options and making sure they're OSHI approved inspectors, and they make their choice. And so it's from a good, reputable company.
I was going to ask that. You guys obviously probably have some inspectors that you would recommend to a seller that you're working with to listing the property. But how does a person out there go about finding a good inspector? Is there some trick to that?
Well, you can go to the ASHI site for the state of Washington. We typically, not to pick one, will give multiples. And the seller certainly has the option to interview and then pick the inspector of their choice. But obviously, we have a pretty good idea, but we certainly do not just pick an inspector and say, use this one.
Right.
And a lot of our clients are pretty sophisticated, and they do the research. And they do the interview, and they pick the inspector.
Isn't that true nowadays? Everybody's so much available information at our fingertips that people know a lot more about, well, pretty much every subject, right?
Exactly.
Right? Check the Google. It's there. It tells you. And it must be true if it's there.
Well, and we have to tell you, too, because we've been doing this for so many years, there are a lot of bad inspectors, too. I mean, you get used to a rhythm of a good inspector, and an inspection on a typical house anywhere from, let's say, 13 to 2,000 square feet is anywhere from 3 to 4 hours.
Right.
So if you've got someone coming in there and they're in and out in an hour, you're going to question it. You're going to be like, wow, I paid all this money, and, there's not a lot of value in that service. So, again, why we give names, because they're people that we trust. It doesn't mean that they can't choose someone else, and maybe they'll love them or they won't, but they're people that we trust, and they do their due diligence.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure that's a comfort, too. It's always good to have a personal recommendation, I think. But so let me ask you this question. Why would an agent not do the pre-inspection? I mean, what would be the reason when it seems so beneficial?
I think a lot of them are not convinced, and they have a hard time explaining it to the seller who doesn't want to pay for it for one reason or another, and then the agent chooses not to do it, thinking that the market is very hot right now, so why should I bother? Not knowing full well what's going to happen. Maybe they like the chaos of what happens when you go to renegotiate the whole transaction. I mean, the way the law works in the state of Washington, when you accept an offer and an inspection is going to happen, there's a multitude of contingencies that are attached to that contract. And one of them happens to be the inspection. And basically, somebody can tie up your house for 10 days and wake up on the 9th day and found a better house and say, I'm sorry, I'm done, and not do the inspection and tie your house where it's off market. So we try to avoid that.
Yeah, very true. I mean, it's habit training. It's, lack of them knowing how it adds value. It's just the things that they learned, and I think that's why they don't do it, and it's unfortunate. Because in our business, just like yours, you got to re-educate every day and learn something new and spend that time going out in the field and really figuring out what the new topics are and things to help your clients with. And that's what we do all the time.
And I don't think that they're convinced themselves. And if they're not convinced themselves, there's no way that they're going to have this conversation with their sellers and convince them. We're doing it right now. We're a couple weeks away from a listing that's going to happen in a great property down in South King County that has kind of a view, but it's an incredible house.
Yeah.
It's an incredible house, and the seller wasn't convinced, but it's taken about 2 weeks, and he finally has agreed.
So that's good. Well, I hope that I know this information has been really valuable because it is really important, and I hope that people will take the time to really, consider the inspection and also not waiving the inspection. I actually have a situation right now where I have buyers that were, I'm sure, probably encouraged to waive their inspection because of the multiple offer situation, and now they ended up having a really bad inspection and pulled away from the property, but they're at risk of losing their earnest money. And it's so definitely you want to work with an experienced real estate agent that's going to help guide you. And so I really appreciate all the information, you guys. Thanks so much for
Thanks for having us.
For coming on the show today. Awesome.
Thank you.
So thank you for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back, we will be talking with Marty Hartman, Executive Director of Mary's Place. To find out more topics about what we've discussed on today's show, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com. Be back in a minute.
If your home's not perfect and you want to sell, what do you do? Synergy Properties, powered by Keller Williams Puget Sound, helps families like yours navigate the preparation necessary to help you maximize the dollars you get for your house. We've helped hundreds of homeowners prepare their house for market. You can find us on Zillow with over 100 positive reviews. Give us a call and we'll be happy to share the stories of the happy homeowners we've helped. We have over 18 years in the real estate business as brokers and closed over 1,500 houses. You can call us at 253-288-8034. That's 253-288-8034. Or check us out online at synergyproperties.info. That's synergyproperties.info.
Are you intimidated by the seller's market we're in and unsure how to secure a home in a multiple offer situation? The Riley Johnson team with Caliber Home Loans has helped hundreds of buyers successfully secure the property of their dreams, even in this challenging market. A pre-approval letter from the Riley Johnson team carries more weight because we have the reputation of closing loans quickly with our state-of-the-art technology known as the ultimate home buying experience. To learn more, more about our premier service and technology to help you secure the home of your dreams, contact us today at Riley Johnson Team at CaliberHomeLoans.com or visit our website at RileyJohnsonTeam.com. Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Did you know that tonight, more than 500 families, moms, dads, and children, will sleep in cars, tents, or doorways, places unfit for human habitation? No child should sleep outside in our community. Mary's Place empowers homeless women, children, and families to reclaim their lives by providing emergency shelter at several King County locations. A warm, safe bed, a hot meal, dry clothes, showers, and laundry, as well as housing and employment resources to help families get back on their feet and find their forever home. What can you do to help? Make a financial contribution. On Wednesday, May 10th, the date of the Mary's Place Spring Fundraising Luncheon, all donations to Mary's Place will be matched up to $1 million by Amazon. Help Mary's Place meet the Amazon one-day $1 million match and double your gift at marysplaceseattle.org.
Talk radio for the heart and soul. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back. You're tuning into Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW. We provide our listeners with local charities and businesses to bring solutions to their daily life and provide you with opportunities to give back to your community as well. And now in studio, we have Marty Hartman. She's the executive director of Mary's Place. Marty is a strong advocate for homeless families. She's a creative problem solver who, along with partners and donors, has secured funding and loaned properties to open and operate 6 emergency family shelters in King County that house over 400 family members each night. That's amazing. And offering housing and employment resources to hundreds more each day. Welcome, Marty. I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for wanting to know more about our families. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, this is great. So, I guess first off, kind of tell us about Mary's Place.
Sure. Mary's Place believes that a car is not a bedroom, that a tent is not a permanent residence, that a street light or a flashlight should not double as a lamp in your home to do homework. And so our goal is that no child would sleep outside in our city or in our county and really in our state. And so we are pressing ahead to do 2 things. We offer overnight shelter, as you said, for 400 family members, 470 right now, on pace to add another over 300 beds this year. So we'll be up to 750 beds this year is our goal.
That is a huge increase, huh?
Yes, but it's still not enough. We all see the need. We see, people sleeping in cars. We see belongings strewn across I-5. You see tents on sidewalks, and we know that there are children and babies in those tents, and our goal is to bring every single one of them inside. So we provide, as I said, overnight shelter, all your basic meals, laundry, showers, connections to phone. And then in the daytime, we provide complete wraparound services to help our families move into housing faster. That's the goal. This is a housing crisis. Wow. And the solution is providing homes. So we are working on that every day to reduce the barriers people face getting into housing through our own housing coordinators, employment coordinators. And then we partner with every possible nonprofit to have them come inside our sites and provide services there. So whether it's legal help, GED classes, ESL classes, complete wraparound medical care services, a kids club on site, that's what we're doing, making sure that all the needs are met until we can get these families into a forever home.
Wow, that's like a huge, huge job, right?
It's a great job.
So how did you get into this? What is your story?
Sure. I started volunteering at my church with a shelter that had closed, that wasn't really going well. And I thought to myself, this doesn't feel right. Here we were patting ourselves on the back that we opened a shelter, and it, we had to close it a year later. And so that was about 20 years ago, and I started volunteering with that. And I learned through that, I learned some great lessons that it's really not just about providing services, but it's about providing relationships and connecting with people and hearing what their needs are and beginning to deal with that grief and pain and trauma, really, that we all have. We all have gone through bouts of depression if we're honest with ourselves.
Sure.
And we've all gone through different struggles in our life. So having somebody to talk to and help work that through really changed the way we did that. And we opened the shelter again about 3 months later. And here, 22 years later, it's still going. So
oh, wow.
I took that experience and really transferred that to single homeless women and then now single women and families.
And families, wow. So how is Mary's Place different than other shelters in the community?
I think you noted in your points, your talking points, that we use underutilized buildings. So really, we're going into buildings that are sitting vacant, waiting to be torn down, and we get to go in and call them home for now and shelter families there until the corporation or the agency has a permit to go ahead and build and their plans are solidified. So that works out really well for us. Right now, we're in 7 loaned buildings, as I would call them, and we're moving to 10 buildings this year. So that's where we're going to get the added capacity.
Wow.
So that's unique in that way.
Yeah.
We also, our guests are really part of the community and the fabric of the shelter, and they're the ones doing the chores, cleaning, mopping, sweeping, but making it feel like their own home. So, and we're holding them accountable for those things. And we work with volunteers. Our volunteers are our lifeline. So whether it's corporate service teams, they're the ones actually doing the credit checks. They're the ones helping get your documentation, filling out housing applications, doing the resumes, mock job interviews. So it's really this complete wraparound sense of community that you're not forgotten, that you're worthy, that you're good, that you're capable. And it's not just staff there telling you that. It's our entire community, corporations, Starbucks, Amazon, ATG, Lowe's, everybody coming in and sitting beside our guests and reminding them of that.
Wow. That's awesome. I think I already said this once on the show, but it really does take a village, like a lot of people to make all this happen for.
Absolutely.
Right? So I've learned a lot just with the different charities that we have hosted on the show, and it's been awesome. And in this question, I'm anxious to hear your answer. But so what do you see like some of the causes of family homelessness? Because I know that it is not what people think that are not, it's more like it could happen to anybody.
Yeah, and I think you all know so well the high cost of rent, and so it's not unusual. There's a statistic out there that says that when your rent is raised $100, 15% of the people that live in the city will lose their home.
Oh, my gosh.
And 32% of people in the suburbs will lose their home because they just do not have the safety net to afford their rent increase. I've known people that have had their rent raised over $1,000 and just don't have the safety net to make it work. So that's the leading cause.
That is the leading cause. Okay.
Yes. And that you don't have the safety net when you have a sick child. What happens when your child is diagnosed with cancer or, needs a bone marrow transplant? I mean, those things sound like that could never happen to me. That's just not my kid, but it does happen, and it's real. And then all of a sudden you use up your vacation and your 401k and your sick time and everything's gone, and now you've lost your job because you wanted to be with your kid.
Right.
And then eventually you sacrifice your home.
Wow.
And if you're lucky enough, you save your car and you move into your car. And that can be, a parent, that can be a child. Other things, divorce. There's no winners, in that situation. And sometimes it takes a long time to figure out the financial piece. And somebody's got to go. And so it's real that we'll find moms that are just recently divorced or going through a divorce that come to us, or dads. And then I would think probably the other leading cause, which we talk about, but there just is not enough space in domestic violence shelters. And when people need to flee and their lives are in danger, they need somewhere to go. And Mary's Place has become that place to go until we can get space in other shelters.
Wow. That's a lot of people that need help. And I guess basically the moral of all that is just life happens, and could be so many different things that come at you. You just don't know anything could. It's tough. And I know the rent thing that you mentioned. Wow. because rents are just going up like crazy.
Yeah.
So that's a very scary thing. So how do people partner with you in the community to address the crisis? What's some things that they can do?
Absolutely.
Are you partnering with them as well?
Mm-hmm. So we believe this is a community crisis that deserves a community response. It won't be one city, one county, one corporation, one nonprofit that will pull us out of this. So we believe in saying yes and partnering with anybody and everybody that will come along. Can you provide shoes for our kids? I hope so. Can you provide a meal tonight? I hope so. Can you provide blankets, diapers, wipies? We need donation drives from all over and from every agency. We were just very successful and worked on the No Child Sleeps Outside campaign in December, which was a unique crowdfunding. You talked a lot about social media at the beginning, and this was our social media campaign. And we were able, Starbucks and Starbucks Foundation came alongside us, and we were able to, with 48 other corporations that they connected us to, raise $4.5 million in December. And we are fast at work creating change in our community, opening up shelters, making sure there's enough added capacity, and really changing the housing pathway. And that can't be done by just Mary's Place alone.
No.
That's asking people to come beside us. And when I talked about having groups come in and provide that housing support, looking for housing, doing the housing search, calling landlords, getting a real lead, sending that family out there with some bus tickets and seeing the property, helping to pay down that debt and arrears. Those are things that our volunteers can do. Bring in corporate service teams, have them come sit beside us and do all of those pieces. Those are what create real changes in real lives, is developing those real relationships and people believing in you again. We have the $1 million match coming up. That's another way people can help. You really want us to help us sustain this work and move everybody out of homelessness and bring every child inside. May 10th is a great way to do that. Double your gift. Gifts of $25 can be doubled to $50, which brings in even that many more kids every night. So those are just a few.
That's awesome. I know. And people don't, I think sometimes people having just done an event and raised money for cancer, people don't realize every little donation helps so much, and if we all just do a little, it's a lot, right?
You can stretch that out and love more people and keep more people safe and alive tonight. It's an incredible gift.
So with all this work and the community partnerships you have, is homelessness getting better or is it not?
Well, I think we all know it's still continuing to grow. You see it out your window, out your doors, every time you stop at a stoplight. There's no secret. It's continuing to grow. But I think it will take all of us, again, to work together to find those resources. If you hear about a vacant building, you hear about vacant homes, you have an opportunity to lease a piece of property. Right now, we're trying to bridge that gap with realtors, residential realtors called agents of change, and trying to get into every realty office and say, will you just take one family, find them one home for now, one a year? And if you can place that one family, what a gift that is.
Oh, yeah.
And what an impact that will have in our community. We're working down a finite list. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's homeless. We started with 500 families. If we can just work down that list and we had those agents helping us find one home for one family, we can solve this. This is solvable. Mm-hmm. This is doable. We can bring every family inside. We just have to find enough housing pieces on the back end. We've got the front door going, bringing them into shelter, providing those resources, but we need a back door and getting them out into their homes.
So how do the realtors that are hearing this and how do they get involved then? How can they help?
Absolutely. We want to share with you our program. We have an orientation. We have great housing locators that come out and work with you every step of the way to help these families. So we would love to share that program, give you an orientation, an overview of what it looks like. So just contact us at info@marysplaceseattle.org and we will get back in touch. Just say you want to be an agent of change.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have all that information on the website, so that's someplace that people can go to look for that. So how about listeners? What, just the regular mom, dad, other, community people, how can they help?
Come volunteer. For many, it's really scary to go into a homeless shelter. If you've never done it before, it's outside of your comfort zone. But I will tell you first, because I have 4 kids myself, that compassion is taught. And you teach compassion by coming alongside others. And we want you to come in. We want you to come in with your family, with your kids. Can you throw a birthday party? Can you rock a baby? Can you tutor? Do you know how to do times tables? Because a lot of our kids are doing multiplication or helping write a paragraph. Can you teach a mom how to read a storybook in English where, Somalian was her first language? Because if you teach her how to read that book, then she can read that to her child. So a lot of simple ways to come beside us that make a huge impact. You have a group that wants to share a meal. Maybe you have a Girl Scout troop you want to bring in. Mary's Place has her own Girl Scout troop, helping to connect girls with Girl Scouts while they're in shelter so that when they go back to their home community and their new school, that they'll ask about Girl Scouts and get involved in that, because we know it's support and help and hope that will bring each of these families out of it. So coming beside us, doing drives, backpack drives in the summer, so our kids will have school supplies to start the year off with or the day off with. Socks, coats, underwear, you name it. We need it, and we need you to bring it in.
So where is your headquarters? Do you have a headquarters?
We do. We're downtown Seattle. We
Okay.
have kind of a administrative hub there, but we have 7 other sites, one in White Center, got one in North Seattle. We're looking now to move to Tukwila and Kenmore and open up more shelters. Our goal is to keep our families in their community where they lost their address. We believe you shouldn't have to lose your community, too.
I was going to ask you about that. So when you mentioned getting the kids back into their own community, do a lot of times do they have to relocate to have the shelter, or are you pretty spread out where you can service a lot of different areas then?
We're trying to do that. That would be our ideal and our big dream. But yes, no, many people have to come to Seattle, so we're serving people from all over King County.
Mm-hmm. Is that where most
services.
of the buildings are?
Yes, that's where we're trying to reach out to and trying to serve those that need shelter in their home community. So
yeah. Okay. That's so awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for loving us and reaching out and asking us, and we're always happy to share, but we would love to see you inside, all of you inside Mary's Place as well.
One other question before I let you go is what about pets? Because it seems like, what you see out there on the street corners, a lot of people have pets. Do you take their pets too? Or?
We do. So we try to break down every possible barrier to shelter. We take single moms with kids, single dads, 2-parent families, multi-generational families, and of course those families with pets. Nobody should have to sacrifice. A pet is part of your family. You shouldn't have to sacrifice your pet to come into shelter. So bring in the dog, bring in the cat. We've had a tortoise too. So
oh, wow.
We love them. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Marty. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back from the break, we'll have the Riley Johnson team update, which will just be the Johnson team update. So we'll be back in a minute to find out about more topics discussed on today's show. You can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.
Did you know that tonight, more than 500 families, moms, dads, and children, will sleep in cars, tents, or doorways, places unfit for human habitation? No child should sleep outside in our community. Mary's Place empowers homeless women, children, and families to reclaim their lives by providing emergency shelter at several King County locations. A warm, safe bed, a hot meal, dry clothes, showers, and laundry, as well as housing and employment resources to help families get back on their feet and find their forever home. What can you do to help? Make a financial contribution. On Wednesday, May 10th, the date of the Mary's Place Spring Fundraising Luncheon, all donations to Mary's Place will be matched up to $1 million by Amazon. Help Mary's Place meet the Amazon one-day $1 million match and double your gift at marysplaceseattle.org.
If your home's not perfect and you want to sell, what do? Synergy Properties, powered by Keller Williams Puget Sound, helps families like yours navigate the preparation necessary to help you maximize the dollars you get for your house. We've helped hundreds of homeowners prepare their house for market. You can find us on Zillow with over 100 positive reviews. Give us a call and we'll be happy to share the stories of the happy homeowners we've helped. We have over 18 years in the real estate business as brokers and closed over 1,500 houses. You can call us at 253-288-8034. That's 253-288-8034. Or check us out online at synergyproperties.info. That's synergyproperties.info.
Are you intimidated by the seller's market we're in and unsure how to secure a home in a multiple offer situation? The Riley Johnson team with Caliber Home Loans has helped hundreds of buyers successfully secure the property of their dreams, even in this challenging market. A pre-approval letter from the Riley Johnson team carries more weight because we have the reputation of closing loans quickly with our state-of-the-art technology known as the ultimate home buying experience. To learn more about our premier service and technology to help you secure the home of your dreams, contact us today at Riley Johnson Team at CaliberHomeLoans.com or visit our website at RileyJohnsonTeam.com. Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Alternative Talk 1150.
You're tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW. It's now time for the Riley Johnson Team Market Update. We are dedicated to provide the tools you need to make informed decisions and how today's events and our local economy can affect your buying power. So, Riley's not here. It's just Johnson. But I am going to just take a few minutes to talk to you about credit and really specifically our young people coming into the market. I wanted to tell a story first. I've been thinking about this lately as working with so many millennials because they are the major buyers coming into the next few years. And I was thinking, I was the youngest of 6 kids, so I was raised in a pretty large family and pretty financially conservative family, I will say. My parents, they were born in the 20s, and so they lived through some pretty hard times with the Great Depression and 2 world wars, and so money was never talked about. I mean, it was never even mentioned, and certainly nothing about a credit score growing up. So I had no idea, but somehow I think just the environment that I was in got me off on a good track, I guess. I started babysitting when I was 11 and my first job at like 15 and a half. And when I turned 16, I got my first credit card at Nordstrom's. I think I had a $300 limit and never overspent. I always made my little payment on time if I bought something. And but I guess to me the funny thing is that they never really talked to me about it. I guess the environment I was in, like I say, got me on the right track. So I've always had responsible credit. But I think from what I see, it's just not necessarily the same for all kids today. And I feel like our environment is a lot different. I mean, I was sort of raised, if you didn't have the money to buy it, you didn't buy it. So people didn't use credit. And now we're more of an instant gratification type of environment. So I'm kind of speaking to the parents out there, but anybody with regard to credit, I think it's just really important to try and get our kids off on the right track. And so I wanted to share just a few tips with you. In building a credit score, there's a good mix of credit. I know credit cards seem scary, but you need to build credit to have a good score. And so having a bank card, having maybe a store card that a young person can use. And when I say use, they could buy 1 tank of gas a month and then they can pay that off. They do not need to carry a balance. I would never want anyone to be paying the high interest on credit cards. So it's great to just pay them off every month, but that helps build credit. When they start driving, if they have a car, making a car payment, that would be considered an installment loan, and that's a great way to build your credit. I was thinking when I got my first car, my parents had a lake place, and they had a balance on their property of like, I want to say like $1,700. And I got a car and they said, here, you can just pay this off. And they just gave me the property bill, and somehow I never thought twice about it, but I just paid it every month until it was gone. And then I said, hey, your property's paid off. And they never even checked with me. So I just wonder, like, I don't even know if my parents thought about, like, I could have really screwed up their credit score, but I didn't because I just wasn't that kind of kid. But anyway, it's funny to me to think about that now. But so kids building credit, you know, it's really important to pay whatever you have, to pay it on time and pay it off. And so some of the factors of your credit score, a payment history makes up 35% of your credit score. So you get that little credit card and you decide to buy something, but if you don't pay it on time, you're really going to hurt yourself. So you really need to make your payment on time. You need to keep your balance paid off or incredibly low if you did have a balance, because that's 30% of your credit score. And then length of credit history makes up 15% of your score. So it's good to get something and then keep it. Don't close your credit down, because then you diminish your credit history, and that's going to also hurt your score. So it's not good to open too much credit, because new credit is going to be 10% of your score, and you don't want too many inquiries. So those are just a few of the things. But one last tip is that 65% of all consumers right now are at a 650 or above. So that leaves a lot of people at below 650. And just to give you an idea, if you were to have a mortgage payment today with or be qualifying, say, for a mortgage with a 650 credit score versus having a 740 credit score, and this, I just ran some numbers based on a $300,000 loan amount at a 90% loan to value, you are going to pay an additional $270 a month on that payment if you have under a 650 credit score. So that's really important. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. I appreciate you being here. For any questions or future topics that you'd like to suggest, we'd love to hear from you at www.financialfitnessnw.com. Look forward to seeing you and hearing, having you tune in next Thursday at 12 o'clock. Have a great weekend.